Hey there, Mountaineer fans, and welcome in once again to another installment of Breaking the Press with head Southern Vermont College men's basketball coach Dan Engelstad. Dan, thanks for joining us. We got a few wins to talk about for you guys here. Came back from the Thanksgiving break, and you went right into it with a New England Collegiate Conference game. And really, those are the big ones. Obviously, you want to win every game, but the conference games are what's really going to impact whether or not you make the postseason tournament. And you had an 85-79 win at Elms College. What's the feeling like amongst the coaching staff and even the players here as you guys have won 5 straight? You're sitting at 6-1, possibly, and we're still looking into it, the best start ever for this program.
It feels great to be sitting here 6-1, and I thought the guys really had a big week. It was an emotional week for us. A lot had happened throughout the course of the week. We went and played a good Elms team, and I think they were a little better than we even thought. They're very athletic, and they played a heck of a basketball game, and we were down double figures with about 10 minutes to go, and we made a great charge, and some guys made some big-time plays down the stretch, and a big part of it was we were able to make our free throws. But the feeling wasn't great after that game. It wasn't the feeling that we had been accustomed to, and it didn't feel like a winning locker room afterwards. So we had to address some things throughout the week, and we bounced back and had a really, really good weekend, and were able to win the Tri-State Shootout against some really good teams. And so we're really excited with where we stand right now. We're hungry. I think we're going to have a really good week of preparation and go play another good team in Union. And then it's time for our guys to hunker down and get ready for exams. But to be sitting here at 6-1, there's a really good feeling from the staff. We're really excited about where this team can get to. I know we're not there yet, and our players too. You know, it was a really neat day on Saturday, hosting that trophy up, and it was nice to finish the deal. You know, we've been at MCLA at the Williams tournament and got the game won, and but weren't able to do it the following day. So for us to close it out the way that we had hoped and the way that we had envisioned was really good to see.
Yeah, as Coach Engelstad mentioned, Friday night the Mountaineers defeated St. Joseph's of Vermont 74-64, and then in the championship game, you guys beat Rensselaer 109-88. That's the most points in regulation for any Mountaineer team dating back to November of 2005. Fans out there might remember the 7-overtime game against Skidmore, but that's a lot more time, obviously, for the team to score. Rensselaer tries to play that, fast-paced run and gun, combining that with your style of pressing. Do you feel like when you get into these games where it's going to be high scoring and kind of those shootouts that you have an advantage, or is that something that kind of scares you and you guys don't want to get into those kind of games?
We've had 2 of those so far. Sage kind of played that up-tempo style. They didn't do it as much on the offensive side. They had a little bit more. They ran a couple more sets. I like playing that way. You know, I told our guys is if we can add a lot of possessions into the game, I like that for our group because we do have that luxury of depth that we come back with, and it's really quality depth too. You know, it's really good players that could be starting, and I don't view our starters as starters and our bench guys as bench. You know, I look at them as we all playing, and they're all going to play about a similar amount of minutes, and that's the luxury that I have as a coach. And the tough thing that I have to do as a coach is try to manage the minutes because we do have that talent. So, but if we can have as many possessions as in the game, I just think we have enough guys that we can wear you down, and I think defensively we're going to be able to turn you over. And as I talked about last time when we had this, if we get consecutive stops, and that happened where we got consecutive turnovers versus RPI, and we were able to spurt them like right before the half. It was back and forth game, and then with 2 minutes to go, we got a steal layup, and we were able to turn them over one more time. We got what we call a chase and poke. We poked one from behind, pitched it ahead, Delapo dunk, and then we had the momentum. So if we're going back and forth with those guys, I think there's going to be a spurt in the game where we're going to be able to make that push. And so we don't mind playing that style, and that's what I like about my team is I can be flexible with them. We can play in a slow it down style. You know, when we played, Williams, for example, we had to slow it down and play in the half court with them and execute our stuff. And so we can play that, but then we can also get in those run and gun type matches too, and play flexible, and that makes it easier for me.
So you guys average 86.9 points per game, which ranks first in the league. Again, when you play, the score against St. Joseph's, you only scored 74. When you're playing a good defense or your shooting really isn't, as high in a game that it could be, do you have enough confidence in your defense to be able to come up with those stops when necessary in order to come away with the wins even if you don't hit that 87-point mark?
We put a lot of emphasis on the defensive side, Mike. I mean, we do a lot of practice with our shell drills, and we talk about how we want to contest the jump shots. And right now, I think we are, I looked it up today, we're 8th in the country in three-point field goal percentage defense, which is really good. And that's something that we try to put a big-time emphasis on, and we got to continue to work at and get better at. But I like when our group's on the defense end and when we buying in and doing things the right way. And we've shown in that St. Joseph's game, it wasn't a run and gun type deal. We had to get in the half court, and they swung the ball around nicely, and they ran some of their actions that they run. But our guys did a really good job of being in the positions they were supposed to be in. They closed out with the high hands. They didn't allow the middle penetration, which we try to strive on. And the more times we can do that, the better we are defensively. And it was good to see that collective group do that. So I don't have any problem getting in a defensive, as we like to call it, a fist fight. I got no problem getting in those fights with other teams, and we're gonna continue to get in those when we have to. And then there'll be nights when the game will be a little bit more free flowing. But I'm excited that we can do both styles.
Now, when things are going well, it's easy for people, especially fans, to get carried away and say, this team is doing amazing, they can do no wrong. How much are you focused on the things that you guys do need to get better at? Looking at some of your team stats, you're only shooting 64.7% from the free throw line. That ranks 6th amongst the conference. Is that a primary focus for you guys, or are you trying to continue to do the things that you're doing well even better?
We know that we have to, starting with the free throw question, we know we have to improve our free throws. And that's something that could be an Achilles for us and could hurt us at games. The good thing right now is we've made them down the stretch. There have been games like the Elms game. We were able to be successful down the stretch and hit some of those, and Sage game as well. And so we just got to be more focused and locked in when we shoot them. We practice it a lot. In practice, we'll have times where we have them go to the free throw line and just practice free throws. And then at the end of practice, a lot of times I'll put pressure free throws on them where they have to make it, and if they don't, they got to run. And so it allows us to get a game-like feel for that. We're going to continue to do what we do. We're going to continue to do what we do, especially on the defensive end. That's where we're going to put a lot of our emphasis on. And I want us to be, we're okay right now, I want us to be really special defensively and take that to new heights. Because if we do that and we're able to get stops, I think we have enough guys in offense where we can be really successful. And we've seen that we're going to have to play against a lot of zones. So we're going to continue to work on our zone offense and try to be successful with that. And but there are a lot of things that as coaches, you want to try to improve everything, but there's not enough time in the day and there's not enough time in practice to be great at everything. So we know we want our staples on the defensive end, and we talk to them as well to your first part of the question is people getting ahead of themselves and where we're going to be. We have to approach it, and I got this from my head coach at Holy Cross, Milan Brown, who was great at this, is not looking ahead. We have to stay in the moment, and we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. And that's why if we go about it, we got to win each play and each possession, defensively, offensively, and just stay in that and don't get caught up in what's ahead of us, because we really trying to focus on the now and the present. And for the coaching staff, we just got done clipping, we have probably 10 minutes of bad stuff that we can clean up on. So we want to keep improving on that. So when it comes to February and hopefully into March, we're playing our best basketball, and we've corrected some of the things that are continually coming up and things that are hurting us right now.
Would it be fair to say that your style of defense has lent itself to early foul trouble, thus causing you to go to your bench earlier than you might have wanted to or anticipated? And it's nice that you have the luxury of having a pretty good bench, as you alluded to earlier, that can fill in and get those big-time minutes so that the guys that pick up, their third early on don't foul out, and you can have that luxury.
We want to be aggressive defensively. That's what we want to do. So I don't want to take that aggressiveness from them. We have to continue to get smarter and defend without fouling. I think Patino is the one that talks about it all the time with his press, and Billy Donovan. They talk a lot about how they don't want to put the other team in the bonus early, and we've done that in games. And there have been games where we put the opponent at the free throw line with 9 minutes to go in the half, and so they're scoring their points without us even having a chance to defend. So we're trying to make an emphasis on that, and we put in a zone defense that we're still pressing, but we're not as not as aggressive on the ball. So hopefully that will allow us to stay out of foul trouble. And but the good thing is if our guys do pick up a couple fouls and they're aggressive fouls and they're fouls that are in the midst of the game and it might be they were in the right spot, went for a rebound, got called for an arm bar, I can live with those type of fouls. I just don't live with the stupid ones, the ones that might be a reach that they don't have to, or a bad closeout where they get caught up and have to grab from behind. Like those we're trying to eliminate. So we're just trying to clean it up on all aspects, and that part especially on the defense end.
Through your first 7 games, you guys average 15.6 turnovers per game. That's 6th in the conference, but it's really not that far off from first. Are you satisfied with that number, or is that a little higher than you would like it to be?
A lot higher than I'd like it to be. And we have a group that is, I think, smarter and more disciplined than we've shown at times on the offense end. And there's that fine line of you want to be aggressive and want to make plays, but also some silly turnovers that we've had and turnovers that easily could be avoided and simple plays. And so I think with us, our guys sometimes try to make that extra special pass instead of just making the slide bounce pass or a simple play that ends up looking better in the long run. So we're trying to emphasize the fundamentals too and make sure that we stick to that, and we don't want to turn the basketball over. We want to try to keep as many possessions as we can and get a shot from them instead of giving it to the other team without them even having to work for it. So we're cleaning that up.
Now, obviously, we can talk about a slew of different guys from the team. Deshaun Hamlet being named the Tri-State Shootout All-Tournament MVP. Dolapo Alubile was also named to the All-Tournament team. Rayshawn Taylor, freshman guard, was named the NECC Rookie of the Week. He had 19 in that win against Elms and then 21 in the Tri-State Championship game. Speak about Rayshawn for a minute or so here and how well he's been doing so far this season, new to the collegiate game.
What a great offensive weapon we have in Rayshawn. He's a guy that can come in right away. He's got no fear of anybody. He's one of those guys that when the lights come on, Rayshawn's going to show up. We're working to get him to become an elite defender as well. Offensive side of the ball, he's going to make plays, and I tell our guys and tell him when he's in space, there are very few people in the country that I think can keep him in front and guard him. He's an elite weapon, especially in transition. Scoring the ball and shooting the ball really well from 3 this year so far, and one of our better 3-point shooters, and he's been huge for us for that part. He's been a guy that's from day one. Last 3 minutes of the Williams game, he put us on his back. We ran a couple plays and made a 3-pointer. He got into the lane, made a pull-up, and got fouled. And so he can create those type, and there's no lights that are too bright for Rayshawn. And we're just got to make sure that he keeps doing it on the defensive end and buying into that part, because athletically he's very talented, and there's no question he has a chance to have a really special career here for us at Southern Vermont.
So you guys finished the Tri-State Shootout on Saturday, then you have the majority of this week off until that Union game. Last week of classes for the guys. It's kind of another break here. You had the Thanksgiving break, then you came back with 3 games, then you have a little bit more of a break for 1 game, then you're going to have another week off until the Hood tournament down in Maryland next weekend. Do you think that's, throwing a hiccup into your guys' momentum and your routine at all? Or is it good to get that rest early on in the season so that coming back after the new year, you should be fairly rested going into league play?
The guys are not going to be off completely next week, so we'll have some practice time before we go back to DC. But it's going to be minimal because they got to focus on their books and make sure that they are taking care of what they have to in the classroom, and that comes first and foremost for us. So it's not going to be entirely a break. I think it's good that we get to play this tournament down in DC before we go to the new year, because it gives us a chance to stay a little bit more in tune with what we're trying to do. And then, like you said, we do have a week off. I think it will be good for us. I thought the Thanksgiving break was good. Got a chance for the guys to re-energize and refresh. And for us, when we get back, now we really hit it. Now it's league play. So I'm not scared of it. I think our guys are going to go home, and they proved to me the first time that they can go home and have that responsibility and still work out and come back fresh and come back ready to go. And so I don't doubt that they'll do it again this time around. But hopefully we can carry this momentum these next couple weeks. It's hard for everybody. I remember when we were at Holy Cross, it was really hard for the guys to stay completely focused in the basketball part because they have so much pressure on them on the academic part. So we're aware of that, and we just trying to put them in the best situation where they can succeed both in the classroom right now, and then just get them enough with the basketball stuff so they can stay sharp and in tune.
Once again, the Mountaineers play at Union College Thursday night, 7 p.m. over in Schenectady, New York. Coach, congratulations on bringing the Tri-State Shootout trophy back to the Mountaineer Athletic Center here for the first time in its 5 years of the existence of the tournament. Good luck at Union Thursday, and we'll be talking to you next week.
Thanks so much, and I just want to thank everybody that came out to MCLA. Our MAC Pack was unbelievable. You know, that's not an easy trip for people to make, and you guys showed a lot of love, and we felt it. I mean, that place has been a home court advantage to us, and so for the fans and for the community, thank you guys so much, and we'll continue to try to work hard and put on a good show, but we really appreciate your guys' support. Mike, thank you,
cool.
man.
Thanks, Coach.